Damn it, let's talk a little more Hendon Hooker to the Vikings. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus, and we've talked Hendon Hooker. We've been very negative about it. We even did a previous video on this, but I think it's time that we take an objective look. Some positives, some negatives. Go into it with a clear mind. What do you say?
Yeah, I think this time I'll even call him Hendon Hooker. I think I'll really try to work on that. Before we do, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids. We are over 9,100 subscribers. You know what? It's going to be too late to drop hashtag 9,000 because we're giving that away very, very soon here, probably within the next half hour.
Yeah, we're going to do it real soon. I was actually going to have you do some voice exercises, getting Hendon Hooker in your brain. Hendon Hooker, Hendon Hooker, Hendon Hooker.
I got it.
But that might be something we are hearing often in Minnesota in the coming years. So let's talk good and bad. Let's separate them.
Yes. So, okay, good.
Good?
Let's start with the good.
Could I say one thing before we get into the good?
Are we talking about him as a prospect or just why he may go 23s? This is what it's about, right? We're talking.
I want to talk about the good of him coming to Minnesota, because every other episode we've done, or when we talk about him, it's like, hell no, hell no, hell no. But when you got guys very high level predicting him to the Vikings, Daniel Jeremiah put him to the Vikings in the mock, and he's very clear that his rankings are his. That's how he ranks them. But when it comes to mock drafts, he says that is based solely off of what he is hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Got to start looking at this a little more serious. So the good being the good if he was to come to a Viking. And all I was going to say is, my first thing I put down is he's coming into the perfect situation. There's zero chance he sees the field as a rookie, blah, blah, blah. But that is the cop-out, because anybody we draft, if it was a quarterback, is the same situation. So I just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's definitely a positive. And the reason why he could be selected at 23 for the Vikings is just the need is there. They've already basically said, hey, Kirk Cousins, you're done after this year, without actually saying it. I mean, Kevin O'Connell said it the nicest way. And the other thing to factor in here is why this is even being talked about is that if they wait beyond 23, they're not going to get Hendon Hooker. I mean, he's going to go. If he doesn't go in round one, he's going to go round two. It's a quarterback. It's a valuable position in all sports. He will go in the first rounds.
Yeah. And another big thing is the fifth-year option is one of the biggest thing that sticks out to me. I mean, especially a guy that isn't going to play his first year. I mean, he's coming off that ACL injury, which he had in November. They're saying, yeah, he'll probably be ready for training camp. But even if he is, he's going to be on the eye. I mean, he's not going to be ready at all. I mean, if the Vikings were to draft him, he'd be on the IR. And even if he came back, he'd be behind Mullins. So we need that fifth-year option if you're going to take him, which would be lovely. But, I mean, you kind of said some other thing. I mean, he's got the mechanics. He's the quick thinker. He's patient in the pocket. He can make plays with his legs and his arm. So he's got a lot of those things going on, which are definitely positives.
Yeah, and Spolsky's a very, very high character guy, too. So someone the locker room is going to love. He's a leader. I love what he said at the Combine. He was asked about the one reads at Tennessee. You know what he said? Hey, not my fault they were open. Not my fault the first read was open. So I love that response from Hooker there. Hendon Hooker, that is, at the Combine.
Yeah, interviews, he's blowing everybody away. And I think that's a big reason why he's also going from that third-round guy to the middle of round two to seeing him in round one. I mean, Tannenbaum had him going 5, which is overly ridiculous. But the fact is, he's a smart guy. He's a good quarterback. He has all the tools you want. What the negatives, which we'll get into, are definitely have a lot of teeth as well. But I will say, like, when we get to I'm going to say his age doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't. I've put it to bed, because when you look at the starting quarterbacks and their age right now, playing the 35, 36, Geno Smith, 32, just got a 3-year contract. So when his rookie contract would be up, he'd be 31 if we did the 5th-year option.
Yeah, I was never worried about the age. I thought that was overblown. Look at Kirk Cousins. He's 36, and he's probably gonna get one more big contract from somebody. Quarterbacks play till they're damn near 40 years old these days. So the age never bothered me that much. I know it did. You were having a really hard time with that.
You know what? I've had a moment. I've had a moment, and I've said, you know what? I'm throwing age out the window. But 25 right now. His birthday's in January. He would be 26, probably actually 27 before he's even a starter.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So
there's some positives.
Here's another thing I think is a mix. It could be a positive or a negative. There's a thing that came out last week saying how Hendon Hooker executes the offense exactly as it's meant to be, like to the T, to the book. He does not go off script. He's just like a computer. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm going to do. So that can be seen as, hey, you know what? This guy's going to be coachable. He's going to do exactly what we tell him to. The other thing is what happens when the play collapses. Is he going to sit there, take a sack, force the ball somewhere? So those are concerns. I think, the way you look at it could go positive or negative in that aspect.
All right. Well, you're starting to fiddle the bean with the negatives. So let's just hop right into the negatives. I mean, that's clearly one. The offense, whatever he says, it's not my fault. That's what they did. That is a big ass negative. The type of offensive they ran. I mean, I pulled a quote. I can't even remember which site it was from, but he nailed it. He says, that offense, it results in mammoth yardage gains, low risk of interceptions, and systems to design teams who don't have time to do immense homework on offense. So this works for really a lot of quarterbacks. Nothing against Hooker. That was his offense, but I think a lot of quarterbacks could have came in and put up some huge numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean he can't work in another offense. It means he just never has and has never been in one that's more complicated.
Yeah, another negative, he's not afraid to take the big old hits. Like I said, he gets out of the pocket and he'll make some great plays with his legs, but he's almost Kirk Cousins-esque, but Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. He takes hits, big hits.
Kirk Cousins is very absorbent. The
big buttocks.
Huge thighs.
Yeah. Broshmo made a great point when we had him on about Hendon Hooker, is that, he is 25 and his physical traits have peaked. You get these guys at like 20, 21 coming in, like you work on your arm string, work on all that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's what he's going to be.
He is what he is.
I don't know, he's 30.
But, maybe, he's not going to do anything you're not expecting. So maybe this is a positive mixed in a negative. I don't know. At least you know what you're getting with Hendon Hooker when it comes to his physical abilities.
Yeah, and then the elephant in the room, that damn ACL, that frickin' ACL. If that thing wasn't on the table, I think round one would probably be just a given.
Or even if he's played, since that, he had it late last year, so we haven't seen him post-injury yet. How is he going to move? How is it going to affect him? Is it going to be in his head? But, ACL isn't like it used to be. I mean, ACL used to be like a career ender. Now it's just like, zit on your ass.
I think I tore an ACL just doing this video. I can't even feel it.
Yeah, see? You're fine.
Strong.
Take some ibuprofen, some Neosporin. You'll be good. Good to go.
I mean, I think the negatives do outweigh the positives just by a Lupagus pube. But I'm starting to warm up to it, and I think it's just because I'm forcing myself to.
Well, my problem is this. I just don't think he's, the 23rd best prospect. I don't know if he's the 30th best prospect, the 35th, the 40th. So you take him there, it's going to be a reach. I don't know if it's the value that I really have the issue with. And I've always been a bigger Hooker supporter than you have.
Yeah, I know you have, you pervert.
But 23 is just too damn rich for me. It's just too rich.
It is. And regardless, we know there's going to be players on defense at 23 that can come in and just make an absolute impact day one. We're going to get a real good feel for what this front offense is thinking, what they do with that first round pick, because if they go somebody that couldn't even see the field for 2 years, not great.
Well, the flip side too is you go with one of these defensive prospects and maybe they're a good player. Then Hendon Hooker turns out to be a Pro Bowler, and you're thinking, you know what, we could have had him. We didn't want him. And then it's back to that boat again, which we've been in before.
Choo. I saw a comparison. I've seen a couple comparisons. Mr. Hooker compared to Jacoby Brissett. That doesn't get me excited.
No, it sounds like a really good backup.
Does, but we'll see. We will see every year in and year out. We see these quarterbacks that somebody said he would be the second oldest first-round quarterback except for Whedon.
Yeah, Whedon, that was horrible. That was disgusting.
Yeah, final thing, negative. Dan Orlovsky doesn't appear to be on the Hendon Hooker train in round one at all. And that man, I love that guy. He knows his quarterbacks inside and out. So you know what? I put a lot into what he said.
You're getting a little too deep here on different levels. So, yeah, let's put a bow on this one right now. Hendon Hooker, there's some positives, there's some negatives, but like you said earlier, it's something us Vikings fans need to be ready for and prepared for emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Yeah, I feel like, we've always been pretty negative about it, but I feel good. I think we did him well, giving some positives out there. If the Vikings do draft him at 23, will you just chuck a beer on the floor?
I'll be like, all right, they did it. They did it. And then I'll be the biggest Hooker fan there is.
I know. Too easy. All right, let us know in the comments. Don't just say no and hell no. Give us a little bit something, a little bit meat on the bone.
And if you have nothing to say about Hooker, remember this: cats have barbed penises.